Hi, it's Steph, and today I've got another craft activity for you. It's a little bit of a fiddly one, apologies. But today I thought we'd have a go at doing a little bit of quilling, which is how I've made these two things. Hope you can see them. I know they're quite tiny. And for anybody that's not familiar with quilling, it is basically it's all made out of little strips of paper rolled really tightly, and you can make the most gorgeous things with paper quilling. After this video, have a look on the internet. Boy, there's some stunning things that you can do. So I'm going to show you two things. Before I get onto these, equipment wise, you will need some paper. You can buy quilling paper. I've not got quilling paper. This is just ordinary sheets of coloured A4 paper, and I've cut myself loads of strips about so big. They don't need to be exact. What I did is I got myself a few different coloured sheets, sandwiched them together, and I cut all my strips together. If you do that, it does save a bit of time. Just be a bit careful, because sometimes when you're cutting along, your paper can shift a little bit, so just make sure you grip it quite tightly. So yeah, you do need quite a few strips of quilling paper. You will also need something to wrap your paper around to help you do these lovely little tiny rolls of paper. And again, you can buy special quilling tools. I've not got them. I used a cocktail stick, which most people will have. If you haven't got a cocktail stick, anything that's quite tiny, you know, you might have little tiny paintbrushes. You just want something to wrap it around, and I'll show you how I do it in a second. Pair of scissors will come in handy, and apart from that, the only other thing you'll need is I've used PVA glue. It's quite handy if you can have it in a bottle with a little tiny nozzle. If you've got PVA glue but it's in a great big bottle, what I would recommend is maybe tipping some PVA out and just using the back end of a paintbrush to grab your glue out with, and I'll explain that later. If you've not got any PVA, I guess you could do Pritt stick. It might be a bit fiddly, but you could do that. You can get other kinds of glue as well. You just want something to glue a bit of paper together, so nothing special really. And that's it. So what I'll do is I'll start off easy and then I'll go to complicated. So that is what we're going to do to start with. I just made out of 3 bits of paper. Stick it down there. So to start off your quilling, grab your cocktail stick, grab a piece of paper. I'm obviously doing the yellow ones to start with, and I'll try and do this up to the camera and hopefully it will focus. First thing you need to do is you just need to overlap the paper with your cocktail stick and fold it just so that it grips it, and try and do this as tightly as possible, which I know will be a bit fiddly, and then you just roll, but making sure you keep gripping it. And whoops, that's gone wrong, so let's start again. This is so much easier if I don't do it looking at the camera. Right, let's go. I'm trying to make sure that you can all see what I'm doing as well. So I'm looking in 2 places at once, which is not easy. And try it, sometimes it kind of goes a little bit wonky. Try and keep it all very straight and level, but you know, it doesn't matter if it goes a little bit wonky. I'll just stop so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just rolling it round. and it does get easier the bigger it gets. And keep going all the way to the end. And then you just take it off. And if it has gone a bit wonky like mine has, I'll just give it a squish. Like so. And then what I'll do is I'll just pop it on here. We'll move these out of the way for a second. I'm going to stick it there. And it will open out a little bit. And you need 2 of these. So I'll do one more. I'll try and do this one a bit quicker. Maybe I won't. There we go. Once it's gripped, it's a lot easier. Roll, roll. And I've not mentioned, the strips I'm using, I have cut them out of an A4 sheet of paper, and I've cut the strips lengthways as well. So it's the long side of an A4 piece of paper, not the short side. Nearly there. Like so. And again, I'm just going to pop it on there. And to make this, you're going to need 1 tightly rolled quill. We'll call them a quill. I don't know if that's what it's called. And you're going to need 1 where it's kind of opened out a little bit. To do the tight one, which is this one here, I mean, I can pull that a bit and get it a bit tighter. It doesn't need to be super tight. You can see how tight that is, and obviously if I let go of that, it's all going to open out again, so that's when you need to glue it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little blob of glue on that little flap that's opened out. And don't go crazy with your glue, you only need a tiny bit, and I'll do it down here and I'll show you how much I've got on. So a tiny bit. And what you'll then need to do is you're just going to need to hold that for, depends what glue you're going to use, PVA. It takes about 30 seconds. Once I let go, it'll be alright. But because I'm guessing you don't want to sit and watch me hold a piece of paper for 30 seconds, actually it's held it already. I've got lots that I prepared earlier. To get them to open out a little bit, you just need to sort of squish them with your fingers, roll them around a little bit, and you can see it does start to open out. And we're going to do the same thing. So to keep that all together, you're just going to need to put a little bit of glue on that flap, which I'll do again. If you're wondering what I was doing, my bottle of glue's playing up a little bit. And it still is. It worked fine all morning. Now it's not. So again, I'm just going to stick that on there and leave it to dry. So that's my sort of opened out one. So I'll get rid of those white ones. So one tight one and one opened out one. With the opened out one, what I need is I need to squish it to make that sort of teardrop shape. So what I'll do is I'll just get my finger and my thumb, and I'm just going to pinch that end of it And I'm not going to squish it too much. What I can do also is I can bend it. Like so. So there's the body. That obviously is the head. Last thing you need to make is the beak. That's a bit fiddly. So for the beak, I used an orange bit of paper and I cut sort of roughly a little beak shape out of the end, and I gave myself some spare paper, and just because we are quilling, what I did is I rolled the edge of the paper, and you do need to keep this one quite tight, and just go to where the beak starts. So you'll have something like that. And obviously again, you're going to need to open it out a little bit, glue it, and just keep it until you've got one like this, which I glued earlier when my glue pot was working. And then what we can do is we can glue the beak onto the head. Just to do that, what I did is I just bent this a little bit, because obviously we're gluing it onto a round surface. So I'm just gonna, I don't know if you can see that. Oops, where's it gone? So yeah, I'm just gonna bend it a little bit. And again, with a little bit of glue, you're just gonna need to glue it onto the just side of your head, which will give you that. And then you can glue the head onto the body. Job done. So that's the easy one. Okay. To make this one, which obviously is a lot more elaborate, what I will do is I'll start you off with the head, and to make the head, what I did, camera's struggling to focus on that. There we go. I used 4 strips of paper, and you need to glue them all together. So on this one, I've got a pink strip, I've got 2 blue bits, and I've got a green bit at the end. And you just need to overlap them and glue them. Leave them to dry as well. So don't attempt this while the paper's wet. And we then roll this around your makeshift quilling tool, which in my case is a cocktail stick. And again, this is quite tight, so just take your time at the beginning. Keep it nice and tight, keep pulling it, carefully wrapping it. Because you're actually rolling 4 pieces of paper, this one gets a lot easier, and you can actually take this one off. In my case, the cocktail stick, I can take it off the cocktail stick and just roll it with my fingers. Losing my voice, which I might do when I've got to the end of this green bit. Just because it speeds things up a little bit. So I've rolled my green bit of paper, I've now reached my blue bit. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold this and just roll it, but I'm constantly pulling it to keep it tight as well. And I had no idea this would make my arms ache so much doing this up in the air, but it is. Right, I'm glad I've only picked 4 bits of paper, because this would have taken forever otherwise. Right, I'm nearly there. And obviously mix your colours up depending on what colours you want. And I would say, yeah, definitely mix your colours, make it more interesting. Don't just use 4 strips of paper the same colour, because that would be quite boring. Right, I'm nearly at my last piece of paper. You'll all be pleased to hear. Okay. Who'd have thought I'd be rolling paper on YouTube? Right, we have reached the end. And obviously, as before, if I let this go, it's all going to unravel. I don't want it to do that. So I need to get my glue and hold it until it's gripped it. And that gives me that, which is the inner bit of the bird's head. To do the beak, I've done mine black. You don't have to if you don't want to. But you need to get yourself a long length of quilling paper. We need to attach it to the head, so I'm just going to stick a little bit of glue. I've no idea if you can see what I'm doing. Might be best if you check if your glue pot is gunked up before you start this, because I didn't and mine is, and it's struggling to come out, which is hugely annoying. So yeah, you need to attach the head, and what you do is just keep putting little blobs of glue as you continually roll it, because it will help it to stick. And you keep going all the way round, little blobs of glue every few turns, and keep going all the way until maybe you've got about that much left. And then you sort of need to shape your beak. So give it a bend, a bit like that. However long you want your beak. You can have it super long if you want. So you need to bend it back on itself. So you'll end up with something like that. And again, you'll need to glue this as you're doing it so that it doesn't keep opening out. And then once you've glued it, you'll have spare bit, and roll it round, and depending on how much you've got left, what I tend to do is I tend to snip the excess off. You're going to need to glue it to grip it, but I don't really want to roll it around my beak again. So when it gets to the top of the head, I just snip it and glue it, which gives me that. So there's my beak. To do the body, I've made this body out of 4 round quills, and again, mix your colours up if you wanted to. So just like Blue Peter, here's a few I've made earlier. So I've got a blue one, I've got 2 green ones, and I've got a pink one. You'll notice that I've varied these. Some of them I've kept quite tight, some of them I've opened them out a little bit. You do need a few of them quite opened out. I'll start with the one that's fairly tight, and that's where you need to make another one of those teardrop shapes. So again, just pinch it. I'll do that. So there's that. I mean, you can see what kind of shape you're after. So that pink one is going to sit in there. What I'll do now is I'll go for this, let's go for that green one. Green one, I'm going to squish this one as well. I'm going to squish both ends of it and I'm going to fold it a little bit. So that one kind of sits up there. Then let's do this bottom one. And again, I'm going to squish both of them. Can we see that? So that's going to sit underneath. Oops. So that kind of goes in there, and then that green one, that kind of fills that little space in there. So, and I knew this would be a nightmare to do on YouTube, but what the hell. And the fiddly thing that you need to do, let's get that in there, is you need to kind of squish all of these together, and that makes your bird's body. And obviously you're going to need to glue this. You can do them one at a time if you want, but you're just basically needing to get to roughly this shape. And if my glue works, if I just clear it out again, or not. Let's try and glue one down here for you. Let's stick that one on there. Go on here. And then we need one inside here. Right, I've got glue on these, so hopefully that should hold them together. And they're all going to be different, but don't worry about it. I think I might need a bit of glue in that top bit there. No, I don't. Going to be alright. Right, when you've got your body, what we then need to do, and this will hold it all together, a bit like we did with the beak on the head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get another strip of paper, and I'm going to need to attach it somewhere. So I'm going to start off probably on that pink bit right at the top with my very temperamental, annoying glue. And what I'll do is I might put a few little blobs of glue around the body, around the outside of the body. Let's go one there, let's go one at the end. And we will start to attach, and this will hold it all together. And then I'm going to fold it under the bottom, and again I'm going to need to put some glue along this bottom bit to hold that as well. I think my glue might be actually playing nicely now, which is nice. That's not quite attached. So you will have enough to go around your body, maybe kind of 1.5 times. So again, I need to put a few more little blobs of glue. I'll speed this up a little bit. Like so. and then I'm just going to fold it underneath, and that should be that job done. So we'll keep going. And I'm going to go right to the end with this. I'm not going to snip it, because I think the tighter that you can wrap your body, it just encases it really nicely. So there you go, one body like so. That is this. Where the tail attaches, it pinches quite sharply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same with this. So I am going to squish. Like so. And I was going to say, I hope you're keeping up, but the beauty of YouTube is you can pause things and rewind and do all kinds of stuff. So there's my body, which head attaches to. But before I attach the head, I'll just explain how I did this twirly tail bit. What you need to do is pick two colours. Ideally, I would pick one of the colours is the colour that you've done the wrapping of the body with, which is the green. And then underneath the green, I've stuck a yellow one as well. So I've kind of joined them. I've got a yellow strip and a green strip. And to make this tail, I'll start off at the end where it's joined, and I'm going to go roughly about that far, and I'm going to double it back on itself, like so. So you'll end up with a shape like that. And then I'm going to, so it's like doing a concertina, I suppose. I'm going to fold that quite sharply. And I'm going to do the same. You can alter the lengths of these if you want. So this one I'll do slightly shorter. And again, I'm going to go all the way to where the other one is folded over, and I'm going to fold that over again. And I should have enough to do 4. Not sure what's up with my voice today. So do one more, fold it over, and this last one is going to be quite tiny. So if I just keep pinching that, that's basically the tail shape that you are after. And you know, obviously if I let go of this, it's all going to spring out. So you are going to have to quite methodically let go, glue and pinch, and then you have to work to the next one and let go of that and pinch it. So you're going to need to glue it until it all held together. Can't speak today, my voice is going. And once you've glued all of this bit together where my fingers are pinching it, what you'll notice is that some of these start to open out. So what I've done on mine is I've put little blobs of glue just to hold them all together. Which will give you something like this. And you can play about with these shapes. And I mean, this will then attach to the body. Like so. And I should do this very quickly. So I'm going to put a bit of glue along here. Like so. And I'm just going to hold that on there, just to make sure that it grips it. I mean, the glue might anyway, but what I've done on mine, and instead of doing it on here, I'll just show you. I have attached a tiny little piece of blue paper just to sit on there, and I've done one on the bottom as well, and it just makes it a little bit stronger. And the final thing that I did was I just attached the head. So that is quilling. So you can either stick to the easy one or be a little bit more adventurous. Make your own, and as I say, do look on YouTube. Sorry, do look on the internet, because you can do some amazing things with quilling. So there you go, a bit fiddly, but I just thought I'd do something a bit different. So enjoy. Any comments, any queries, add them to the list at the bottom. I'll try and answer them, and have fun. See you soon. All right, bye bye.